In my opinion, Chevy just needs to get rid of the Trailblazer. I'll explain in today's video why they should do that. I'll include a link to the Chevy here in Provo's website in the description down below. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Easton. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbo 1.3 liter 3-cylinder that goes through a 9-speed. Fuel economy is 26 around town, 29 on the highway, with power outputs being 155 horsepower and then 174 pound-feet of torque. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. As you can see, this one is very, very bright blue. You've got a split light design with the actual headlight down below, and then the grille in the RS is all blacked out. And they give you this fake carbon fiber trim there on the front. But hey, who cares? It looks cool. It looks beautiful. Tire and wheel setup is 245 by 45 by 19. You got silver on the outside with the blacked out trim on the inside. Rugged looking fender flares for this little unibody crossover, and then you can see the bodywork continues that. Now I will say the wheels with the blacked out roof, this is pretty cool looking from the side profile. When it comes to the key fob features, we got the Chevy bow tie there on the back. On the front, we've got our lock and unlock feature, remote start, the opening for the hatch as well. Now, although this is a compact, it actually has a pretty good amount of cargo space. You can throw it on the seats if you want even more. And it actually does fold flat across, which is nice. Taillights are pretty spunky looking with this, and then again, the rest of the badges are all blacked out. That will cap things off for this beautiful car, well, at least for the exterior. Let's now check out the interior. Now, I will say on the door panel, pretty basic with the trim. But these seats are nice, perforated trim all down the center. Legroom back here is good. I also have a little storage pocket, and down below, if you peek, you can see a little charging, well, USB ports. By the way, headroom back here, it's not massive, but I do fit decently well. Keyless entry for up front, and let's pop in. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors, and then you can see the adjustments for the mirrors down below. Notice the front window is automatic, and then they do add some cool red trim on the front door panel. RS logo there on the seat. The driver's seat has a bunch of nice stitching and everything, power adjustable with lumbar support too. The passenger seat's manual with the adjustment. Look at that, a modern Chevy with an actual physical light control. That's nice. Start her up. Nice trim all around the steering wheel. I like how it's perforated on either side. Kind of makes it feel a little bit more premium, a little bit sportier. Practical controls on the front face for like the center, for example. Your voice command controls over here on the left-hand side, heated steering wheel. Cruise control as well. There's radio controls in the back of the steering wheel too. Got this nice digital gauge cluster here in the center. Pretty clean design overall. Backup camera in reverse, and it has pretty good resolution. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, it's actually quick to respond. You've got the little sidebar for shortcuts. Has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Quite a bit of glare though, as you can see. Single zone climate with this, and then below that we've got a USB port area with a 12-volt. Shortcut buttons for your auto stop start, to turn that off, lane departure, stability control, your sport mode, and then all-wheel drive you can decouple, and then you notice in front of that we have a phone charging pad. Shifter there, and you'll notice we have plus and minus. You can shift through the gears yourself if you want. Parking brake behind it with some cup holders. More storage in front of the center console here. Nice trim on the top, and speaking of nice trim, look at the dash design. Pretty nifty. 2026 Trailblazer, $34,435. Let's see how this performs. Trailblazer! Why is this car junk? Well, not really junk, but I think that it should no longer exist. And, well, it really just comes down to Equinox and, well, it's not a Trax in front of me anymore, but the Chevy Trax. I'll talk about it at the end, but those two cars make this car irrelevant. So I just drove an Equinox before this, and I will say, Equinox suspension is actually quite a bit more comfortable. This is not nearly as comfortable. Wow. Maybe they keep the Trailblazer around just to convince people to buy Equinoxes. It's weird. Radio just randomly turned on. There's a ghost in the car! Maybe. But yeah, this isn't a bad car. Like, it drives fine. It's just when you compare it to its two sibling vehicles, it's like the Trax is much more affordable and drives pretty much as good, and then the Equinox is a little bit more money but offers a lot more. Now the interior on this is, I like it. I like the style, and You know, I think this is a nice mix of physical with some analog. Chevy's gone too much into the, or say physical with the analog, digital with the analog. Chevy's gone too much into the digital world with some of their new cars, where it's like everything's in the screen. I know it's going to help out with, you know, cost savings with manufacturing. I don't think it's going to pay off for them though long term. Well, time will tell. I just don't think that people want everything to be a screen. I think that people still want some physical buttons. And I'm noticing more and more people are like that, where it's like, I want something tactile to touch, where the car feels like, especially with how expensive cars are, where it feels like it's an actual experience to kind of drive. Now I will say this 3-cylinder, it's pretty peppy. And when you hear 3-cylinder turbo, you're like, oh, right? Big eye roll. Now, I won't talk about reliability. It's not what this video is about, but if you guys want me to do a reliability video, we can talk about it. It's got good power. It has good torque. It's pretty smooth with the 9-speed. Don't get it with the CVT. Don't do that to yourself. But you know, with the 9-speed, it's smooth with the delivery. I really do like the steering wheel too. Like there's things that I like about the Trailblazer, but overall packaging. Let's talk about it again. So the Trax is much less expensive, has a 6-speed automatic, so like the acceleration just feels better compared to a CVT front-wheel drive Trailblazer. So if you're gonna get a front-wheel drive Chevy, you're better off getting a Trax. You'll save money and just have a better driving car in general. Not a perfect car though. When it comes to all-wheel drive, this is almost like this. I mean, depending on how you spec out an Equinox, this is like pretty close. I just reviewed Equinox RS and it was like 38, going for like 37. So the Equinox is more money, but it's a better car objectively. It looks better, drives better. So I just think that I understand like the Trailblazer's in between the two price point wise, and that's why they have it. But it's like the price is so close that you might as well either jump up to an Equinox or jump down to a Trax, depending on what you're looking for. So this is kind of in like a no man's land in a way at this point. It's not a bad car, it's just somehow inferior. And again, I'm wondering if like Chevy's purposely doing that to like convince people to buy Traxes and Equinoxes. They're like, hey, we'll offer 3 offerings, but really we're only offering 2. I will say for a 3-cylinder, this thing's got some torque. It's surprising. Because when you hear 3-cylinder, when I hear 3-cylinder, I think, oh, that is slow, terrible. You know, this has got good low end torque. And turning's pretty good too. A little bit of turbo lag there. Not horrible though. Let me guys think about the Trailblazer, but I think it's kind of obsolete at this point. I think that you might as well spend a little bit more money and get an Equinox, or spend a little bit less and get a Trax if you're looking at a Chevy crossover, because this is just kind of like the worst of both worlds. It has a smaller size, smaller engine, but then bigger price tag. I mean, it's got all-wheel drive that the Trax doesn't have, but yeah. Let me know your thoughts.